The aim of today's video is to make you comfortable in bad lies out of bunkers. Never worry about the bear lie or the plug lie again with these simple tips. Make sure you check out this video. Easy, right? Well, that was a good lie. And if you don't find bunkers easy, I have just filmed a video talking about the 2 reasons golfers struggle. Strike point too far back in the sand or digging in too much. So if you really are struggling, check the video out here that I filmed in the same bunker, same situation, but from good lies, just talking about how we need to finish nice and tall and get that pressure forwards. Today's video is going to be about what to do when the lie isn't so good. So the first one that most golfers are worried about is the bear lie. So I've got to move quite a lot of my sand away, and hopefully you can see here I'm starting to get down to some hard, compact, it looks muddy, but it's just going to be a tight lie, okay, where there's not going to be a lot of sand. And this is a one that golfers really worry about, and it might not be this extreme. It might be perhaps that you're in a footprint, but we're going to go really extreme in this shot here, and I'm going to be going for the middle pin just short of my ridge here. So I've got about a 15-yard shot. What changes would I make? Well, I wouldn't change ball position. So I'm still keeping the ball way up near my lead foot. Okay, so almost where I'd play a driver. I'm not even changing contact point. I'm still aiming for about 2 inches behind the golf ball, 5 centimeters. That hasn't changed. I'm not changing my alignment. I'm not going to change where my weight is. So I still want to try and get my sternum in line with the golf ball. So my pressure is about 65% onto that lead foot. That hasn't changed. That's just like a bog standard regular bunker for me. So again, rather than discuss it in too much detail, I'll put a link here just talking about standard setup for a normal bunker shot that's worth checking out. So everything's staying the same. I would, if you've got the option, use a lower bounce of golf clubs. So if you have a sand wedge and a lob wedge, your lob wedge generally has less bounce on the sand. If it's a custom one, it hasn't come with a set of clubs, it probably tells you the bounce on. So mine says 58 degrees aloft, 10 degrees of bounce. If it's one that comes with your set of irons, you're probably just going to have to Google it and have a little look online to see what the bounce angle is. But your lob wedge will normally have less bounce than the sand, so it's better at digging. And that's what we need in this. We don't want to skim, we want to dig a little bit more. So we'd use a lower bounce wedge. We'd also keep the club face squarer, straighter, because if I open that wedge up, I'm exposing the trail edge to the sand, so I'm lifting the leading edge of the golf club up in the air. So I'm going to actually hit the sand and almost bounce thin the golf ball. So I'm going to keep the club face much squarer on this one because I don't want to increase the bounce of the golf club. This does mean it's going to come out a little lower. What could I do? Allow for a little bit more release. So in this shot, actually, if it ran on to where my other ball is there, 5 foot past the flag, hopefully I'm going to use that ridge. It's not a bad shot. So except that we're going to get a little bit more run. You're not going to have quite as much spin from a bear lie. So ball position stayed the same, contact point stayed the same, weight stayed the same. I'm using a low bounce wedge and I'm keeping the club face square. In terms of the method, what I try and feel is what I describe as a V-shaped swing, more up and down. Rather than a normal swing that would feel a little bit wider, I'm almost trying to get my wrist to cock up so the club is working up and down, okay, in that V-shaped fashion. Now, I'm going to allow the wrist to cock, but because there's not a lot of sand, I'm not going to hit it very hard. So I'm going to cock the wrist up, but I'm going to be really baby soft and just feel like I drop the wedge into it, okay? So I'm not going to hit it hard. Real light grip, early wrist break, and as soft as I can. And that was perfect, apart from my direction. I've pulled it a little bit. But you can see I'm getting to some quite dark sand here. There's not a lot under the golf ball, but you'll surprise yourself. There's still a little bit that you can dig through. Now that came out visually a little lower with a little bit more release, but would you take it? Absolutely. You know, golfers worry, well, yes, it's going to go lower, but I still cleared there a bunker height that was 4.5, 5 foot high, and it was at least a foot over that. So I've hit the ball at least 6 foot high. maybe more, at 2-3 yards in front of me. So nothing's really changed with the setup. Still 2 inches. Let's see if I can get slightly better direction. Pressure forwards, I'm going to cock my wrists and I'm going to be really soft. Everybody hits these too hard. So when it's bare lie, less sand, less speed. Perfect. Hopefully it's going to use that little bit of ridge and come back. So yes, it's a lower ball flight, but it's coming out, releasing, so I'm not hitting it hard. I'm still digging into that sand, so it's a feeling of early wrist cock with not very much speed at all. I just wanted to finish with plugged. Okay, and I'm not going to spend as much time on this. It's the same method. So I've had to kick in, obviously, the sand back, because we'll only really get that ball plugging when there is sand. But the ball, that's half buried, so half is showing, half isn't. So quite often called a fried egg. Everything's staying the same. So don't start thinking it's getting more complicated. This is exactly the same as the bare lie. All we're going to do is more sand, more speed. We're going to hit it harder. We're doing everything else the same. Same ball position, same 2 inches of sand, still my low bounce wedge, the club face square. I still want this V-shaped swing, so early wrist set. But instead of baby soft, now I can thump it. I can feel like I hit it a bit harder because I've got more sand to move. Okay, so square face, early wrist set, hit it hard. So you'll hear a different sound there. It is more of a thud. So I am digging, I am taking more sand. And again, very much like the bare lie, it's going to come out and it's going to release a little bit more. You're not going to create as much spin. So it's exactly the same. The only difference with a plug lie is going to be the amount of energy I need to put into it. So plug lie, I've got to hit it harder because there's more sand to shift. Bare lie, not much sand, less speed, okay? So everything else staying the same. Let's finish with one more from a buried lie. You know, a lot of that ball is down into the sand. Low bounce, weight forwards, V-shaped swing, hit it hard. And that one, I got everything okay. Just a little bit too close to the golf ball. So everything worked all right, and on a bigger green that's staying on, it's just rolled off the other side there. Not my best one to finish with. You can see the ball came out just a little hotter than I wanted. The contact point was a little bit too near the golf ball. So I'm still aiming for 2 inches. I'm still setting those wrists early. And on this one, as I said, I'm just feeling like I thump a little bit harder down into the sand. Whereas the bare lie, it's baby soft, light touch is what we need from it. Give it a go next time you're at the practice area. Drop a couple of balls, give it a go before you get on the golf course. Just try those different lies and you'll find they're not as hard as you think and you can escape from any situation. If the video has helped, hit the thumbs up, share with as many golfers as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, at least 2 instructional videos a week. Right now, YouTube is suggesting the next video of mine that's relevant for you. It's just here. Click on it and check it out.